Alright, I'm gonna make this really short, sweet, and to the point. After watching Raw last night, and mind you, a lot of people are saying it was one of the best Raws they've seen in years. I can't agree because I missed the first hour, so my rating will be a little low if I had it. But this ain't about that. This is about Becky Lynch. That segment was the most confusing, most weird, most off-putting segment I've ever seen, and it's not so much for Maria Kanellis. I can go on with the neutering of Mike Kanellis. Let's be real. He was neutered by two women, Becky Lynch and his wife, Maria Kanellis. And I don't know how his character is going to come back from that. It's going to be a hard climb. A hard climb. No red-blooded man will allow two women to neuter him in public. I'm just saying. But this is not about that. This is about Becky Lynch. My biggest concern about her character now is that she is going to be the feminist icon, the SJW icon of the WWE, and that's always been my concern. I've always liked her character to have an edge. I like the fact that she was the man because it separated her from the rest of the women. She was tough. She pretty much owned everything that she said. She went in the ring. She dominated. That's what I loved about her. I don't want her to be a feminist icon because modern feminism, I have my own personal view on that, but the last thing I need is for her to neuter anybody or to downgrade anyone else, especially men. In my humble opinion, Seth Rollins is kind of being cheapened because of her man gimmick and the fact that they are together. If they're together behind the scenes, sure, do whatever you want. But in public, it just, like on the screen, it seems like that her man character is downgrading Seth Rollins' character, and just it doesn't look like it fits. They look awkward being on screen together. They look like they have zero chemistry whatsoever romantically. And honestly, how she acts in the ring when she comes to help him is just off-putting. And it just makes her seem like she's taking the role of a man, like a real man. And I'm like, no. But one thing about the man gimmick is that it made her tough. It separated herself from the rest of the women on the roster. But it should not replace anybody. And that's my biggest concern with her. The fact that Maria put her over saying the only man in the ring was Becky and she should put a baby in me. Maybe that wasn't what she said verbatim, but she put over Becky Lynch, and I'm like, okay, what is Seth Rollins, chopped liver? It just seems like that the men in that entire segment was downgraded and neutered compared to the women in there, and that's the one thing that bothered me about that entire segment whatsoever, especially Mike Kanellis. He got neutered by both women. But also it leads me into the whole intergender match rules that the WWE have, saying that the women wrestle the men and the men wrestle the women. I've always hated those matches, not so much because of the women getting hurt. I like Lucha Underground. Those luchadores are the toughest women around. They fight men, and they go hard. Like, they don't hold back, but they do what they gotta do. And they know what they're getting into. So if they're in a match with a guy, they fight them all out. It's like nobody's holding back, but they know what they got to do. And I respect luchadors. But besides all that, when it comes to the intergender matches in WWE, they have the women touching the men, and that's wrong. It should be the rules that you've already stated. The women should touch the women, the men should touch the men. The women should not be involved at all with any man match. If the man's in the ring, the women gotta leave and the men gotta come in and just leave it at that. The man has to be the one that has the last tap. It has to be the one with the pin if it's a guy in the ring. With Mike Kanellis, if you have Becky Lynch doing it, disarm her, and I'm saying disarm her because that's what it is. Doing a disarmer on Mike Kanellis, that's just downgrading that guy. I'm sorry, it is. The fact is, they should have stuck with the rules. Instead of trying to change them up for their own agenda, they should have just stuck with the rules and not have the women touch the guys. And that whole match just literally downgraded both Seth Rollins and Mike Kanellis, and I hated that. But my biggest fear now is that they're going to use Becky Lynch as the next SJW, the next feminist icon, the next woman empowerment icon. Me personally, I don't want that on my screen. I see that enough, and I'm sick of it. I just want Becky Lynch to be a great character that is strong, that is different from the other women on the roster, and that goes out and says what she says she's going to do. If she's going to beat your behind, she goes out there and does it and take your title. And she says she's going to do that. She takes your title, and she's strong for that. She don't need to step on anybody to get there because she's already shown that her character is strong enough. She doesn't need any of that.